Rolling?
Alright,
what's going on, guys? Today we got a little bit different video for you. Not really a challenge, well I guess it's kind of a challenge, but basically what we're gonna do today, just to show you guys, is a lot of information on a lot of spots and what we're looking for and stuff like that, is kind of a catch a fish, move spots challenge. So we're targeting walleyes obviously today. We're gonna go for catch a fish on a spot and immediately change spots and go find them on another spot. So stay along, it's gonna be a lot, or stay tuned. It's gonna be a lot of sonar looking, a lot of showing you guys exactly what we're looking for, side imaging, sonar, GPS, and hopefully catch some walleyes. Stay tuned, thanks for watching.
gotta get out of the way.
Alright guys, so we're pulling up to our first spot here. You know, we've caught a few here this week, but basically we're fishing like a 19, 18, 17, 20 foot weed, just kind of like flat section out here. There's not really much to it. It's just kind of some deeper weeds. You know, we're cruising around, and basically I like to be running side imaging in these kind of scenarios. Just because the bottom is it's not super thick weeds. There's some thick pockets of weeds out here. You can see I got harder bottom off my right side here. You know, a few strands of weeds out in here. I'm actually in a few weeds right now on sonar. If I clicked over to down imaging, you know, you can see weeds right here, and that's what they look like on sonar. But I'm rolling around with just side imaging on right now. And that's basically how I'm hoping to find these fish in the weeds. Not seeing anything that's super awesome looking yet. So this is basically how I would tackle a section of water like this. Because unless you have a super defined weed edge where fish group up, you're basically not super likely to see them on sonar. All right, so we got a couple of fish here, guys. So I'm gonna screenshot this real quick so you guys can see it a little bit better. The fish are actually kind of just outside the weed edge, but they're just like onesie twosie. It's not like a real thick cluster of fish. So right where I'm looking is right over here. Here's a good example right here. So I got a white mark right there, white mark right there, shadowing behind it, another white mark right there with shadowing behind it. So I'm gonna go ahead and screenshot this for you guys quick. Boom, screenshotted. All right, so then the next thing you would do, you know, is basically drop a waypoint on these fish, just because sometimes it's kind of tough to just guess basically where those fish are. All right, so we just dropped a waypoint on those fish. You know, there wasn't like a big giant pile of fish there. They weren't in one real tight ball. So basically there's a couple of things we can do here. You know, we could do a slip bobber thing and pitch a few around, kind of like we like to do, and keep them just above the weeds. I'm not going to troll through here because it's not really that big of an area, and they're not really that scattered. There's not really a ton of fish in here. The other thing I could do is jig, whether that's with a plastic or live bait, you know, kind of at that depth. A lot of times, you know, unless you got a kind of a large area where there's fish, it doesn't really make sense to try to cast a plastic out. So probably a jig and live bait, jig and a leech, jig and a crawler, something like that, and just work it real slow kind of through that zone right there is probably what we're gonna do. So stay tuned. We're gonna spot lock on these fish and see if we can get them to bite.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so you know, we just came into spot number 2 here. Let me give you a good overview of it here. I'll take a screenshot for you. It looks something like this. So you can see here, I actually ran over some weeds. It's a small patch of weeds because you don't really see a whole lot else. And you can see there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fish right in there. So we waypointed those fish. I'll kind of scroll in so you can see them here. And this is going to be a pretty quick, easy one to fish because it's not like a large spot really. It's just like this one little patch of weeds that there's a few fish relating to. So, you know, we dropped the waypoint. Now we're going to work back through the trolling motor, cast off the left side, and see what we catch. Stay tuned. And there we go, fish on.
You got one?
We got a fish on, Mitchell.
Guy is good.
And we're gonna boat flip them. There we go, nice walleye there. All right guys, there we go. You know, we saw those fish on side imaging. We went right across that shallow edge. It actually took a little bit more time than we thought it would take, but you And we pitched some jigs around, threw a few bobbers out, and bobber went down. You know, using that side imaging to pinpoint your cast is huge. You know, knowing basically, you know, where to run those fish or where to run those slips, where to cast your jigs, that's huge. And that's why I always run side imaging while I'm fishing in a scenario where I could see fish on side imaging like I can in weeds or sand like this. What's going on, guys? So we just came into this hump. It's kind of like a fringy weed hump. Yeah, it's actually sandgrass. If you don't fish a lot of deep clear lakes, you probably don't know what sandgrass is. And that's a pretty decent looking screenshot right there. We'll screenshot that. I also actually took a couple of other screenshots. I was marking a few on sonar and a few on side imaging and down imaging. You guys can take a look at this right here. You know, here's some on down imaging. You can see it's just one fish here, one fish here, one fish here. You know, here's another shot of some fish on side imaging. So, you know, that's kind of I'm looking at here. This hump isn't super big. I could probably cast most of it from right here. So I'm probably gonna throw a few slip bobbers back just because the bite has been finicky. Just kind of like this year as a whole. We'll have some like really good days and then all of a sudden it's tough again. But I'm gonna throw a few live bait rigs back, these slip bobber rigs, and then maybe snap a big jig around. We'll see. Ooh, that one popped it right off the bottom. So there you go. That is what we did there. I pitched out a couple slip bobbers. Neither of them went down. There's about, I don't know, 15, 16 incher there. That one, you know, we're fishing 18, 19, 20 feet of water right now. So we just did a video on pop jigging with the jerk minnows on 1/4 ounce up shallow. That's a 3/8 ounce. And I'm snapping it around a lot more out deep. So yeah, faster fall rate. A lot of times those fish hit off the bottom, just like you guys saw right there. You know, the reason I wanted to cast a plastic here versus a live bait rig is because this is kind of a bigger hump. I threw some slip bobbers out just because there were some fish, and slip bobber has been good with a leech. But you know, wanted to cast these fish were a little bit more spread out. You guys saw what I saw there. It was kind of a large hump with fish kind of just one here, one there. You know, if that was one single stack of fish, it probably would have been more of like shoot them with a power slip bobber or just fish a real small area with live bait, because it is, you know, when you're making a bomb cast with something like this, it's tough to fish that real specific spot. So you know, sometimes cover in the water is the answer. Unlike last night when we were fishing a real small area, today on this spot I was trying to cover a little bit more water. And as we were talking, apparently I had a bobber go down. This could be bass or good walleye. Too early to tell. It's a good walleye, I'll bet. Yeah, look at that. Anyways, talking about the payoff of fishing multiple lines, I guess, and there it is. There's a much larger one than the first one I caught. There's about a, I don't know, stocky 21, 20-inch walleye. I'm gonna let that guy go and show you guys another spot, another situation. We'll see how we're gonna catch him. All right, so I'm cruising around a big shallow hump right now. It's a lot of kind of 12, 13, 14 feet of water. Bunch of weeds on it. I'm looking for fish on side imaging. I tried to fish some deep rock to kind of prove a point, or just to show you guys something different, but just honestly didn't really see much out there. And whenever I'm fishing these big shallow flats like this, like you guys know, it's always, I do a lot of side imaging out here. I'm not gonna really mark fish on sonar in 13 feet of water, at least I'm not counting on doing that. Okay, there's a pot of fish right off my right. Not very far right now. I just spot locked. You guys can see the fish right here. I casted a slip bobber out real quick, but probably gonna jig too. I got a 1/4 ounce jig rigged up, ready to roll. So they're around my bobber, I should start seeing them. Okay, I'm still seeing them on side edging, that's good. bunch of them there. I gotta pull this bobber in a little ways. Maybe not very far out, like right there. Whatever they are, there's a lot of them right there. Alright, there it goes. Bobber down. Got a bunch of slack out. And fish on. Oh, it's just so cool watching them like that. And it's the right one. Oh man, you guys saw it there? I am all tangled up, but that's pretty much the norm. You know, using side imaging while you're fishing has got to be one of the most helpful things. A lot of guys just use it to find fish, but when you can use it to just follow that school around, I know there's like 360 imaging that's on my, or the 360 mega, which is definitely on my list to get. But you know, for right now, using side imaging while you're fishing and being able to see that pot of fish, you know, I cast it out in the general area of those fish, and once the boat swung, I immediately saw those fish move closer to me. My bobber was out about 50 feet, and those fish were only out about 10 to 20 feet off the side of the boat. So I quick reeled that bobber in. It takes basically no work to fish a bobber, so I always like to. And you know, there's the reward right there. You guys saw it go down. You saw basically exactly what I'm looking at. I relied so heavily on that hummingbird that, you know, it's just, I'd be lost without it. So there we go, beautiful fish. We'll drop him back. Thanks for watching, guys. You know, hopefully this little 4 fish exercise, I guess we caught 5, but you know, between last night and this morning was you know, very informational for you guys. You know, kind of shows you when I'm coming into a spot what I'm looking for. You know, I thought I saw a couple right away, casted that bobber out, spun around, saw the fish move, sucked that bobber closer to me, and caught that nice walleye. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe. Please keep watching our videos. We really try to pump a ton of information into these. And until next time, yeah, stay tuned for more.